Hello and welcome to From Duendelvin. I'm Corbin, and today we're going to be talking about World of Savarion. We have Kyle and Jeff. I need to figure out which way to say it, because I do it alternating every time.
Nothing wrong with alternating.
Yeah.
And what are we talking about today?
We're talking about the heralds
Yeah!
of the Horakai, or the dragons.
Dragons.
Who's the bad?
We're good. We're live.
Alright, what are the heralds?
So, when the Horakai, so you got to go back and watch episodes. So,
There's lore.
got to go back. There's lore. I'm not going to cover all of it. So, during the battle
Redlining.
of the affirmation,
You're redlining.
We bumped it.
during the battle that ended with the affirmation, where the last stand of Shota, the last stand of Zed, so on and so forth, happened. It happened because the 9 races had figured out a way to kill the Horkai and were killing them in droves. All of them died except the 4 brothers. So Theranik, Helios, Catiline, and Zaok decided to back out of the war and go find the weapons that Duendelvin created
Dirtbag!
to put Vagok down. They went and found them,
Dirtbag.
gathered those
No.
weapons.
Donovan did not create the weapons. Parvulcan.
Parvulcan created the weapons.
That's where the dirtbag was supposed to be.
Sorry.
Donovan's
Parvulcan is the
not-
dirtbag.
Parvulcan created the weapons, gave them to the races.
Donovan has
to
her
put-
moments.
Yeah.
She's lived long enough to redeem herself.
So Parvulcan created the weapons, gave them to the 9. The 9 put Vagog in prison.
Yep.
Right, so that all happened. And then those weapons got hidden. The Horakai, the 4 brothers, went and found those weapons and then came back into the fight when it was just, there wasn't any left, and put Vagog away and then just decimated the army.
And you get some
And
god
they
power.
took those
and
weapons.
You get god bombed, and you get god bombed.
Get
And
God bombed. So they
Holy
took
hand
these
grenade.
weapons that had created themselves and created a herald for each of them. So they all get their own herald.
It's like a
And that
vicious murder
is-
dog.
giant.
That's
vicious
their dragons.
murder
So
dog.
there's only 4 dragons in the entire lore, history, anything ever of Savarion. There's only ever 4. And 1 to each of the 4 brother Horakai.
Now, when you have something that is created, so it's a carbon copy of a carbon copy, kind of, these dragons, the Horakai realize very quickly, they are busted. Their brain is busted.
It's like filtering a photo down with AI constantly.
It just
until you can't tell what it is.
It gets wild, which is why they don't unleash the heralds constantly. The heralds actually stay locked in the overworld and are only released to go when there's a need.
Right. To carry out a singular.
Because
Much
where
of
the
time
Horakai
it's
have
decimation.
neglect and almost kind of disdain for the mortals, they're just like, now we can finally live in peace and not have to worry about this. We've done our job. The heralds kind of hate mortals. Like, that disdain became loathing as they were created, and it just kind of got more warped because they're being kept on a chain and effectively kept in captivity with only each other for company.
How does the Zaok one function then if it just hates everything and it has to choose who runs the country?
We did talk about that one, yeah.
It doesn't run the country.
It chooses who
That's how
runs
that's what I said. If it hates and has to choose who runs the country,
Because it doesn't always choose who's going to do the best job. It doesn't
it's
always
gonna
choose who's
ruin
going
them
to...
the most.
It
It's
chooses whoever most closely aligns to its values.
Yep. Which is chaos incarnate.
Yeah, it claims that it's to Zaok's values, but it chooses based on its own values. And Zaok thinks it's funny.
Yep. He's like, good dog. Good puppy.
My puppy chose
Watching his
bad.
kingdom, like the city, the empire that carries his name, Zaok's name, and watching them just like struggle under having to educate this middle class nobody on how to run an empire
Right.
would be entertaining as heck. And what an experiment for him to like see, okay, do you
Why
actually
did
have the
Freya
potential?
have to pick the most problematic person we have in our country?
Well, it was divine providence that picked this person, so we will obey.
Yeah, you can't say anything about it. It could just be some, like, a stupid jerk of a person.
Now, if the dragon got tired of being kept cooped up, I could actually see them picking someone who's slightly sickly or who's a halfling, has a short lifespan, so they get the chance to come
I'll
down
be
more
back soon.
frequently. Yup.
That old guy.
No, because that would be blatant, and that would get it in trouble. It can't blatantly do things against Zayok's function, because then Zayok would have to step in and be like, no. And that would be bad.
Okay, so mess with them, but don't.
Make it obvious.
Make the big guy
game the
angry.
dragon plays is I have to do this without upsetting Dad. Yeah,
So it is a game.
it's a game, always a game.
But the heralds, because of their design, are the most feared creature in the world. Because every time you see one, it's bad news.
It's never good.
Unless you belong to the nation where they're choosing the next leader, and then it's just they're choosing the next leader.
Yep.
But outside of
Sometimes.
that, anytime that you saw a herald, it would be like,
Oh no.
this is bad news.
Would being someone from a different country going to the Zayat country and seeing the dragon just be like, oh, shoot.
It's well known. It's well
Yeah.
known. It's not a surprise.
No, but it
would
wouldn't be normal to you.
it would be terrifying to see for the first time. To have this building that looks so strange and it's really just a pedestal for the dragon to come and rest itself on outside and
Would there be, like, people coming to
to see it? Absolutely.
just to see the dragon?
You would have a pilgrimage of lots of people trying to come to the capital city to view a herald and live.
View a herald who isn't.
Yeah. Because when a herald shows up, if it flies overhead, then there's a whole probability that
There's
a lot of
this
things about
strip
to
of
die.
land is gone. Harold probably came through here.
well, this city disappeared overnight. Must be the heralds.
There is a hole. Something we used
Well,
to
they
be
wouldn't
here.
like they wouldn't. It depends on the person. Depends on the heralds. Some of the heralds would come through and they would decimate the entire landscape. Some of the heralds would come through and they would just attack the people specifically. They would wipe. I'm talking too much.
No, you're good.
Okay, but yeah, like so the heralds would enact different function because they are a twisted version of the creator.
How would the Elios one work then?
Mercy, it's mercy killing. It would come in and it would spare the land and it would kill the people.
Oh, so it just goes on a rampage.
Yes, but a very
Life
careful
is
rampage.
Life is pain. Let me kill you.
Yep, your existence is painful. Let me end your pain. Yep,
Yep.
Our mercy killer is more of a summoner.
Oh,
Because how can a dragon go in and just precise kill things? It's too big. It would be very difficult to go in and
it's just
precisely
like
kill things.
poking ants.
And how merciful would it be to
Well,
have your
I mean,
sister
it was
who is
created
dead
by
kill
the weapons
you?
of Harbicon.
True, so I guess it could.
Oh,
Why would it not be able to do that?
But how merciful would it be to have your sister, your beloved sister, come back from the dead and end your
I'm just
suffering?
saying, a single person needing to die,
Could be happening, yes.
they could do that.
So they're just a walking zombie apocalypse. They just rise the dead to kill you, and then goodbye.
Mercy would, yeah. The Herald of Mercy.
That person just died. Oh, they're back up. Mercy's here.
But you
We're
kind of see
doomed.
the twisted nature of it. That's the point.
Yeah.
I mean, to exact a justice,
Do
how would
they
justice
actually
enact?
have like a physical appearance?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Yeah, they
want
don't
to
change their
explain
appearance.
that?
They look like a dragon.
Oh no.
Like if you, okay, if you close your eyes right now and imagine a dragon, okay, and I say, think about a European-style dragon. The first thing that comes to your mind is right.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it looks like. Now, it would be green or black or red or
Oh, crap.
Blue.
Would it be blue?
I don't know.
Blue.
blue. Yeah.
What I was always seeing was these like the noodle dragons for like Elios specifically.
From Asia.
Yeah, like the really long ones with all the like
Without
hair
wings?
and whatnot, without wings. And Elios was just like a bright blue with darker accents, and then it had this twisted face that was just like
Interesting.
Well-
sinister in it of itself. Like the face just didn't fit.
No, this is very stereotypical. What you think of
East
Like
Arab-
Aragon
four-
dragons.
4 legs,
Bigger.
But bigger.
One
Yeah.
set of
Okay.
wings, giant Smaug.
Yep, Smaug's a good option
Good.
because they
Good
have
example.
intelligence, but it's a twisted and hateful intelligence.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
intelligent. But it's like we aren't going weird and wild and crazy with the dragons. Like stereotypical what you think of as a dragon.
Yep.
It's four-legged beast with a tail, lizard type face, wings.
Whose colors are who?
No.
What color is represented by each of the gods?
Thernic would be blue, peace. Zayak is black. Or no, it would be white and black.
Yep. White would be mercy, not peace.
Yeah.
White would be mercy.
White's mercy. Black is order. Green would be peace.
Yep. And blue
And
would be
red is
justice. There would be no, and then there'd be no blue. We were wrong on that. It's not blue.
Oh.
It's
Blue's
black,
white.
white, red, and green.
Green.
If blue was for justice, you might give it a spear.
Blue and
Spear of
green are
justice,
both.
put it away.
peace. So it would be green in this case.
So yeah, that's the colors. And then they would enact, like I said, there is eventually a time after the Horcrux are popped out, just gone, boop,
The end of the Age of the Godless.
where
Or
there's
beginning of the
beginning
Age
of
of
the
the
age,
Godless.
where,
End of expansion, beginning of
The
Godless.
dragons are eventually hunted.
where they're released and they go to the different empires and
they
create
have to be hunted.
havoc. And then yes, armies try to get marshaled against them, and those armies get decimated. So then it moves into the Dragon Slayer series, where a small group of high-tier adventurers go and very quietly try to eliminate the dragons.
Would the dragons be considered a commodity once they die?
There was, I guess, because there's no way to reproduce them. So like dragon
No,
scale would be
Like,
desirable, but bone, like you would be ornaments. They would be adornments. There would be
my sheath is made of the femur of a dragon.
that's
I don't know.
that's a big
It's a strange choice
I
for a
don't know.
sheath.
and a femur chew, like a femur use, like
I don't know.
But yeah, it would be
It's
dragon bone, dragon scale, dragon tooth, dragon equipment would suddenly be introduced into the regular world set.
right. So we'll have to build that for the role-playing game, what that all looks like. and
But they
everything.
would be
But-
extremely rare stuff and
Well,
extremely
there's
pricey.
only ever 4 of them, and they only die during the Age of the Godless.
Yep.
No other time in history are they dead, and so that you would never have a item that a dragon dropped or whatever. Like when you kill a creature, you could harvest whatever. You would
Yeah.
never have that before the Age of the Godless.
Well, would dragons shed stuff? Like,
No.
would they leave
No,
something
see, they
behind after they destroyed something?
No.
There'd be
So-
no sheds. There'd be no. They're not like a consistently growing creature in that regard. Their form changes to fit them. So
Oh, well, I was meaning like how some like reptiles will
You wouldn't
sometimes
have-
just
Would be-
lose a scale because why not?
So if you think the 4 Horcrux are highly, highly logical and extremely powerful, and then they're carrying around god weapons that were created literally by Parpelcon and Veritas Sanctus, right?
Both of them together,
Like these weapons were created by the most powerful gods in your universe, right? To kill another god. Like that was why they were made. This is how powerful the weapons are. And then I, as a creation, am gonna create something else in my image to
great and
carry
terrible.
out my judgments, right, in the world. I'm not gonna provide a way for somebody to collect pieces of it. No way.
Well, from my what I was thinking was what could cause the most problem. If a dragon dropped like a useless piece of itself that couldn't actually be used, it would be extremely valuable still and would just cause people to freak out. Like, I want the dragon piece.
No, I don't think they
it will be terrifying because it would create an unbalance of power. And yes, they could do something like that. However, they won't be allowed to, because you want the dragon to stand above and beyond what the mortals can create. And if you drop a dragon scale for them to utilize, you then give them the chance to analyze and learn. The Horcrux understand that every Savarionite has a divine spark and can create their own magic. They've watched it happen.
Yeah,
You know
okay,
what
maybe
though?
not.
Since we're talking about this and we hadn't ever discussed it, maybe it would be interesting if the dragons did drop scales.
Do you want to do that way?
And a dragon scale, when it is detached,
Is useless.
becomes hard, like armor.
Yeah, you can
It
take
maintains its color,
Ooh.
but loses all of its properties and
Look what you
just
did.
becomes metal.
Look what you did.
And so you can use it the same way you would use any other metal thing as armor, but now it's dragon scale, so it's cool and it's colorful.
And
But it has no additional properties.
It'd be lighter than standard armor, so it wouldn't cost you as much dex in the roleplay aspect of it.
You know
dragon
what?
scale
Let's
armor
do that.
would
So
be
dragon
lighter.
scale armor is simply
Yeah, but it
lighter.
would also be a
Lighter metal.
statement of power.
I've been
Well, they'd be expensive.
my
yeah.
lineage has been gifted this. We have been chosen by the Horakai, which
Well-
would follow on, and then it will be
I
eventually.
found a decimated city and there was a bunch of scales flying around.
Well, it would intentionally drop them every now and again.
Yep.
So we have to add dragon scale armor to the
Just-
role-playing game.
Let's do it.
You just
Or
got
dragon scale metal.
Yeah.
Or just
Sprinkle it. Just out there.
Right, dragon scale equipment. And that would be the only thing they dropped. And so
Well,
let's
how big
do
would dragon
that.
scales be?
Theranik, well, the
gosh.
four of them intentionally allowed that to happen to kind of throw into the mix. But that's the only thing they dropped.
Because I'm also picturing like a dragon's just getting tired and don't want to chase somebody down, and they're just showcasing their capability, and they just pop a scale off and flick it like a shuriken and wipe out an entire village.
How big? How big are these dragons?
Massive,
And how big are their scales?
gargantuan.
The scales themselves.
No, not themselves. The scales
feel like-
themselves would be like it depends on
Like a
where
tower
and
shield.
what part, but effectively, yeah, the smallest would be a shield, natural format, and then
So the kind of armor you'd have would be just like around here.
you would effectively take that and fashion that into a breastplate, or you would find a way to cut the scale in half because you still could. It would take effort, but you would be able to like fashion into greaves, into a helmet, into a dragon scale helm if you had enough of it.
Okay, so dragon scales wouldn't exactly. So
They'd be they'd be
finding
like
a pretty dragon scale armor set would be really difficult.
yes.
Oh, yeah. And really, really expensive.
You'd have it'd be goblin craftsmen
Really
who
expensive.
would be the ones that would work dragon scale. Not only is because it'd be a hard metal to work with, but also metal. It'd be a hard material
What
to
if it's
work
not
with.
like a meltable metal? Like
And that's
you
it.
can't melt it.
You have to shave it. And you have to shave it with other dragon scale.
Like obsidian.
Ooh, that'd be terrifying. No, because it has to be able to be cut. Otherwise, it'll be too powerful.
Okay,
Oh, no,
so we're
that's-
gonna
no,
talk
it's-
through this. Let's keep going on.
Yeah,
what
we-
is. We're gonna
went to
establish dragon stuff as part of the
Dragon
armor and
stuff.
everything. So
We'll talk about it.
Yay! I get dragon armor.
it will be
Who says you
introduced.
get dragon armor? Todd. All right. But yes, now we have dragons' scales that can be sharpened, fastened into swords and armor. This will be interesting.
Yeah.
If you guys show up live, you can feed us ideas, and maybe we'll put it into the game.
Yeah, pop any more ideas you have in the comments, and we'll see if we like it, and maybe we'll throw it in there, and we'll give you a response always. You can always comment on the videos, and we'll hook you up with answers.
I pitched an idea, and now it's gonna be canon.
I mean, yeah, that's how the Moo Moo Emporium became a thing.
Yeah, that's canon.
That's how this all works. If it makes sense, it's logical. It fits. We'll make it fit.
So yeah, the heralds are they enact justice as seen, or they're unleashed upon the people, and sometimes they could do nothing wrong, but the Horakai are like, we need to remind the people, and they unleash the dragons into some of the areas, and
I wasn't
They don't-
satisfied with your week of
yeah,
worship.
You're
There
getting
wasn't
complacent.
enough
The-
colors.
the reason is inconsequential because they're just going to randomly unleash the heralds, and that people can upset them somehow,
I'm bored.
but it would be like
Reignite the fervor.
yeah, it'd be like generations. They
So
wouldn't
it'd
happen
be-
constantly.
It'd be constant fear.
Yes, that's the whole point
Oh,
of
yeah.
the Horakai. You live in constant
For
fear.
their dragon bunkers.
Of like upsetting.
Dragons are here. Get down. Go into the bunker.
That would just entice the dragons to target that spot because they'd watch them build. They could see it happening and they'd be like, oh, you think that's going to save you? And then that would just entice them to attack that spot.
Well, and then everyone would be like, oh, okay, they know where the bunkers are and they'll go after them. Okay, put the people you don't like in the bunkers and run.
I mean, you could try that. It just depends on how the dragon's feeling. Like, the dragon's going to go unleash however it feels like it's going to unleash. So, like, if we talk about that, what would be the twisted format that justice would take hold? Like, I wanted to ask this question and see what you thought on how would Kettling's dragon dispense justice. What would that be?
That's.
Ooh,
feel like
what if
that
it
was-
was Invoker and it made you just, I don't know, it messed with your brain before just ending your life?
That wouldn't be just.
It's a twisted format of justice.
It would be
Well-
twisted if it was making you, like, feel everything, every bad thing you've ever done before killing you.
We don't really have that kind of magic.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to
No? I thought
experience that kind. That.
Well,
it
well,
could be.
Although, if they're introduced with the
the book,
Publicon Veritas Sanctus weapons,
they
they could have gotten that.
They could have found a way to utilize the rings in such a way so it's almost, oh gosh. So here's what I picture now is unfortunate. They're literally erecting like the dragon comes in and he stockades peoples, but not quite stockades. Like he effectively locks them up and into a very, I don't want to crucify, but effectively like it's a crossbeam and they're pushed up on the crossbeam and then they are forced to relive the damages of the entire, like the bad things of the entire city that's being eradicated.
Or,
Whew.
since this is how it all works, guys.
every
When we're
wrongdoing
coming
they've
up with
done-
stuff. Okay, so the Port of Lost Souls maintains the souls of the dead,
Ooh.
which means their memories still exist.
So they could pull the soul.
And so what if the Horakai created Kettling's dragon to be able to access that? And so there's a connection point every time you wrong someone.
It forces you to
It
endure what
causes
you
a
wronged
correction point.
someone.
Yes, and so this dragon can actually make you experience their side of it.
How you wronged them.
How you wronged them in every situation that ever happened before it exacts judgment. So like if you've done something where Elios's or Kettling's dragon comes down and actually is exacting judgment on you directly, you get to experience everything you've ever done wrong from the perspective of the person you've wronged before they exact their judgment, which is usually death.
Almost always. It's an excruciating way to get there.
So the only way you'd want, like, if you lived a good life and a dragon was coming, you're saying, hey, I believe I haven't wronged people. I'd like the Kettling one. Because it wouldn't be as much.
No,
Still.
bad.
terrible.
So
because
Kettling's just the bad. Just
they're all bad.
Kettling would be
I feel like Kettling would just be
well
everyone
because if
watching
you were
someone
the kind of
suffer.
person who wronged a lot of people over a long period of time, like you were just evil and stuff like that, Kettling's dragon probably would imprison you with those memories.
Yep.
So you would spend the rest of your days
As a mortal, still living, but forced into purgatory of torture of your own wrongdoings.
right. I could even see that dragon dunking you after making you live through the things, dunking you in the ley lines and then throwing you in prison,
Ooh.
making you broken, and then imprisoning you.
He can't make you broken. That's not a thing he can do. Without Vagog's blessing, they can't create broken. That's something we
True.
did speak. So he can't make you broken.
But he could take that chance.
He could dip you into the ley line and then watch as the world tears you apart.
And then if you
It's-
survive,
yep.
throws you in prison indefinitely.
So just throw them in the dark,
Like,
Yep.
and then don't let them leave for a day.
Ever. Now they're stuck. They're ghouls in a prison.
No, if
reliving the memories of everyone they've ever wronged for their entire existence. Like this is
and you could put it in a
Kettling's
way that
dragons-
they can see the sunlight and they know there's a way out, but they can't get there.
Because
No, that's
that's torture. Not.
unnecessary torture.
I mean,
No, but you can't get out of the wrongdoings you've done to other people.
true.
But that
you
would
can't-
be a twisting.
Yeah. And that's a solid twist. And then you have mercy.
Yes, dungeon.
Dungeon. Yes, there'd be dungeons.
So,
Kettling,
so Kettling's dragon would be the worst.
the dungeon keeper.
That
Oh.
would be the one you would not want to see.
Zayak is the one that's one of my favorites because he uses persuasion to turn armies against each other. He legit, like, if you send an army against him, he's just like, oh, look at my toys. These are my play toys now. And he just takes them and changes their allegiance or turns them on each other or forces them to play for his.
Hey,
He's a
it'd be a
puppet
good
master.
idea to go stab that guy right next to you.
I mean, yeah, effectively, he would just
You blow the trumpets around the town and watch as everyone stabs each other.
he would set the town on itself. He would cause madness and watch the madness ensue.
Okay, so all the dragons suck.
Yeah, no,
And
they're
you
yeah.
just pray for your life that you never encounter one.
because mercy would be torture until you ask for the mercy of death. He would torture. It would torture you. It would slow, like a different kind of torture, not like a justice
Like a
torture.
mental.
No, like physical, put you through agony until you were given the mercy of death, or you have to give the mercy of death to other people. It's the torturer's mercy.
Yep. Bad news.
Bad news bears.
Oh, so would it be like, hey, you get to kill people when they decide they want to die?
You have to exact, like, you are like committing these atrocities, and then they like the mercy of choice is like, I want death. That's it. But you have to suffer agony before you get the mercy of death.
I could
All right.
see
Well,
that.
we are out of time.
We
The
are
Helios dragon
dragons.
just, hey, you're the
So-
butcher for today. You get to go kill people.
You get to go and torture people.
Or you get to experience what they're feeling.
Well, kind of, because not everyone can do that. That's a Kettling specific. You get to feel, you get to experience, because that's something that was given to them. For Elios, it would be, I can inflict immeasurable pain on you, and I will not let you die. I can prolong your life unnaturally without letting the sweet release of death come until you are sufficiently cowed enough to receive that mercy.
So would it be most typical for survivors to come out of the Helios?
Heck no. No one survives.
No one survives?
Nobody survives.
Nobody served. Well, unless they want him to.
That's fair, unless there's a reason.
Well, there could be like, hey, you're executioner, go kill these people.
The
and
most
now you get to
likely
live with it.
survivors are the Zayak ones.
Yep. But they're
Because
broken.
he's absurd.
Not literal broken. Their brain is googly mush.
Hi, I'm just gonna stir this real quick.
Gibbering
Have
And
fun.
sending that back out into the world would be chaotic.
Yep.
Here, let me just stir your brain.
Alrighty.
We have definitely overgone. I apologize.
All right.
Woo! Dragons.
Dragons, they're fun.
No.
they're not.
Not at all. Our dragons are not
We
fun.
love dragons. No, we don't. That means death.
I mean, we do love dragons, but whoo, buddy.
Ooh, buddy.
Ooh, boy.
Don't forget,
It is
like,
like
comment,
Monday
share.
outside.
And yep.
subscribe,
Yep.
And share.
share.
I like
We're gonna be
reception.
live.
And subscribe.
We're gonna be live
Tuesday.
Tuesdays, 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Come join us.
Come join us.
Ask your questions.
Get your
We'll answer them
ideas. We'll
live.
make some dragon armor.
Bye.
Bye.